Your Excellency Ban Ki-moon, that you were not prepared to speak. I think you have spoken better than even those who had wanted to speak. And thank you very much for your comments and the passion you demonstrate on matters climate change. Your Excellency Ban Ki-moon, 8th Secretary General of the United Nations and Honorary Chair of the Global Center on Adaptation. Your Excellency Macky Sall, the 4th President of the Republic of Senegal, and now our Supervisory Chair of the Global Center on Adaptation. Professor Patrick Vakoyen, President and CEO of the Global Center on Adaptation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya, like many African countries, is experiencing the harsh realities of climate change, as has been very ably spoken to by our former Secretary General. From prolonged rains, prolonged droughts, to devastating floods and unpredictable wet weather patterns, our communities and ecosystems are under immense pressure. It is therefore our responsibility to enhance our capacity to adapt. We must equip our institutions and workforce with the knowledge, tools, and partnerships required to respond effectively. It is therefore my privilege and honor to join you this afternoon for the groundbreaking ceremony for establishing the Global Center on Adaptation dual headquarters here at the Kenya School of Government. This occasion symbolizes a new chapter in Africa's response to the escalating climate crisis. The establishment of this center is timely. It is also strategic and visionary. It will serve as a regional platform for policy dialogue, cutting-edge research, and capacity building to accelerate climate adaptation at all levels of governance. As a country, we remain deeply committed to the principles of sustainable development and climate resilience. This center is also aligned with Kenya's national priorities, including the Climate Change Act, the National Climate Change Action Plan, and the aspirations under our Vision 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, the Global Center on Adaptation will be a hub of adaptation, innovation, public service training, and policy support. It will bring together researchers, practitioners, policymakers, and development actors to design and deliver practical, scalable solutions on matters adaptation. Most importantly, it will help strengthen institutional resilience, particularly at the devolved levels of government through specialized training and also through technical support. Through this collaboration, we aim to place climate adaptation at the heart of public service training, performance management, and leadership development. This will ultimately support institutional re-engineering for climate-responsive governance. As a country, we reaffirm our long-term commitment to supporting this initiative. I remember when I visited the floating office in Rotterdam, and I did make a commitment on the behalf of the people and government of Kenya, and in my very strong belief that we have solutions that we can offer. And though we are suffering the effects of climate change, we do not want to be just victims. We want to be part of crafting solutions and crafting a future that all of us can live in. It is my very strong commitment that the old style of trying to point fingers at who did what, or trying to blame one us against the other, or the rivalry between the North and the South will not give us solutions. It is the partnership that we can forge between the South and the North, between those who are responsible and those who are victims. And that is how we are going to craft a solution. We're going to craft a new future that will be sustainable for all of humanity. It is a place in history where Africa must contribute its resources, its natural, human resources, and its expertise and knowledge and understanding to craft a future that is not just sustainable, but a future that serves all of humanity. It is the reason why Kenya has taken a front lead in matters climate action and in providing leadership for our continent as we work towards forging a united front and dealing with the challenges that come with matters climate. Just for the record, Kenya is 80% arid and semi-arid. And we understand full well what a drought means. We also know what floods can do. Just 2 years ago, we had the most serious drought in 40 years of Kenya's history. We lost almost 2.5 million heads of livestock. And subsequently, the year after, we had very serious floods that people in this city of Nairobi, close to 30 people lost their lives in those floods. So we know what climate change means because we live through the effects every day. And I agree with Ban Ki-moon that there are world leaders, there are senior policymakers that are yet to come to terms with the realities of climate change. But that doesn't mean that we cannot forge a future together. It is our responsibility, and Ban Ki-moon said he's not a scientist. I am a scientist, and so I can speak to this subject with greater authority. And I want to persuade those who still second-guess the effects of climate change that we are living a reality. Climate change is real. The effects it's having on our climate are real. Floods, we just recently saw floods in the US, devastating floods. In the US, they are on our screens. We are seeing effects of climate change in different parts of the world. And you see, the effects of climate change are democratic. They don't affect any part of the continent more than the other. We share almost equally in the effects of climate change, and therefore we must forge the way forward and the solution for it together, because none of us is safe. And therefore, through this collaboration, we aim to place climate adaptation at the heart of public service, as I said. And as a country, we reaffirm our long-term commitment to supporting this initiative. We shall closely work with the Global Center on Adaptation to align national policies and facilitate interagency collaboration. To our partners, I urge you to embrace the opportunities presented by this center. Let us work together to embed climate resilience into our operational plans, policies, and development frameworks to strengthen climate-smart planning and service delivery. To our development partners and the private sector, your expertise and support remain vital. We invite you to collaborate with the Center in scaling innovation, sharing knowledge, and creating solutions that serve not just Kenya or our continent, but our global audience. I wish to thank all the stakeholders. I know many people worked long hours to be able to put this successful groundbreaking ceremony today. Many staff, they know themselves. Many people worked long hours, I know that very well. Many people worked on Sunday, others worked on Saturday. I remember making several phone calls. I apologize for disturbing your weekends, but it was necessary because this climate crisis is real. And therefore, the center that we are building here that is going to harness expertise, bring policymakers into this space, bring development actors, is a necessary emergency. If climate action is an emergency, climate adaptation is more than emergency. And therefore, the setting up of this office that is also going to provide space for our Ministry of Environment at no cost to the government of Kenya is a very welcome development. I remember having a conversation with Patrick, and we agreed that they are going to spend close to 1.7 billion shillings to put up this office, and we are going to share that office so that we can share the benefits and experiences and the research and knowledge that will be developed in this center with the government of Kenya as we provide leadership on climate action across the continent and beyond. Today, we plant a seed that will grow into a beacon of resilience, innovation, and excellence. Let this center stand as a symbol of Kenya's leadership in climate adaptation and of our collective commitment to a sustainable and secure future for all of us. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.